Day 2 of the NFL draft is in the books, and we're going to give out grades because it's American tradition, unlike any other, predetermining their outcome in the NFL based on the grade we give them following their draft pick. So we're going to go through the pick for Ruke Orhorhoro, and then we're going to look at the Bralen Trice selection. First, some background on Ruke. Dane Brugler from The Athletic says, Orhorhoro's underdeveloped pass rush instincts and finishing skills cloud his next-level projection, but he displays intriguing movement skills and force at contact to continue getting better and better. Now, you guys can read the scouting report on him. He's Tom Downey, our NFL draft expert, number 4 defensive tackle, 55 overall. So, according to that board, a little bit of a reach. Keep in mind, the Falcons traded up to get Ruke. There was a long run of defensive tackles in the second round of the draft, and it was partially started by the Atlanta Falcons giving up pick 79 in round 3 to jump up a handful of spots back-to-back years with a second-round trade-up. This time, it's on the defensive line. So, for me, this trade move-up was not one I admired for the Falcons, and I definitely would have preferred a different player at the exact same position. Illinois' Jerzon Johnny Newton. Now, videos like this are always kind of a tough line to walk because I don't want to be a damper on Ruke as he joins the Atlanta Falcons. It's an awesome moment for him to get drafted, and who am I to be a YouTuber and just poo-poo on it? But if I'm giving you guys my honest opinion, it's that this is not a trade I wanted to see the Falcons make. I liked them having 2 third-round picks, and I didn't feel like Ruke was a guy that slipped out of round 1 that warranted a trade-up in round number 2. Obviously, the NFL draft is very different than any other sporting event because you've got 32 teams at the same exact time all competing for players in a way. So if the Falcons really loved him and they felt like, which there was a run at DTs before them, he would not be there at their original assigned 43rd overall pick, then I can see how they ended up deciding, let's be aggressive and go get our guy. I just wish that guy was Jerzon Johnny Newton out of Illinois, who ended up going the very next pick to the Washington Commanders, Dan Quinn. So Quinn had an opportunity, or the Falcons had an opportunity to go get a defensive tackle that former head coach Dan Quinn liked a lot, and ultimately this can be a moment that we look back at and go, wow, the Falcons picked Ruke Orhorhoro right ahead, and I know it sounds like I'm doing a Scooby-Doo impersonation, but that is how he pronounces his name, Orhorhoro, right before a beast of an interior defensive lineman with a high pass rushing upside in Jerzon Johnny Newton, which is why I'm going to give this pick a C-. I don't really dislike Ruke too much as a player. I don't think he was someone that you had to trade up for, and if you were trading up for a DT, I wish it was for another defensive tackle that was available. So I'm not going to be as harsh on this pick as I was for the Michael Penix selection, but it's not my preferred choice. But ultimately, the funny thing about the draft is we're not going to have any idea as to what teams made the right or wrong picks, not just for a few months, but probably for a few years. So it's fun to give out these grades. They're kind of meaningless, to be honest with you all, but at the end of the day, we're all searching for them. So I'll be the boogeyman and at least give you my grade on them. Now, before we look at their third-round selection, Bralen Trice, and my letter grade for that pick, I do want to tell everyone watching today about our wonderful sponsor, which is Game Time. If you are trying to get tickets to a sporting event like a playoff basketball game, hockey game, Braves game, or any other local sporting event, download the Game Time app today and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Now, they're going to have excellent deals for everything you could want under the sun. So like I'm saying, if you want to go see a Braves game or a playoff basketball game, download the Game Time app and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Shout out to Game Time. It's the best place for the last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Use that code CHAT Sports for $20 off. All that information in the comments and description of today's video. Game Time, the best place for the last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Fast forward to pick 74 when the Falcons finally addressed edge rusher with Washington's Bralen Trice. So let me read to you what Dane Brugler had to say about Trice, and then I'll give you my analysis. Trice doesn't have exceptional edge speed or length and needs to be more consistent in the run game, but his athletic urgency and violent play style will help translate his college disruption to the pros. He projects as a scheme-diverse rotational NFL end. Remember that first part that Dane Brugler wrote about the lack of speed or length. What he makes up for without that is incredible strength. You just don't want to be on the receiving end of a big-time bull rush move from Bralen Trice. He may not have the best quickness or the greatest first step I've ever seen. In fact, I would have preferred probably a Jonah Ellis selection at this spot, but I can definitely warm up to a Bralen Trice pick because, let's just be honest, any edge rusher pick was going to be a good pick. At this point, the Falcons just had to go edge. Did not matter who else was still on the board. Trice last year for Washington, 49 tackles, 7 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble. He was not my necessarily preferred edge at that spot. I really liked Jonah Ellis out of Utah, but I can definitely get around to a Bralen Trice pick because we simply have no choice. The Falcons have pushed off their biggest need this entire offseason until the 74th overall pick in the draft, and it's a little unfair to Trice, but he's going to have a lot of eyeballs on him because he is the only addition they've made to getting to the quarterback. So hopefully he can deliver in his rookie season. If not, we can look back at this draft and really pinpoint the exact moment the Falcons had not one, not two, but countless opportunities to improve their pass rush, and they left it all in the hands of a really strong but not super fast Washington Husky in Bralen Trice. So how would you grade the 2 picks so far? Exclude Michael Penix. Actually, no, exclude him. I don't really care. Michael Penix or not, how would you grade the Atlanta? No, include Michael Penix. I'm making up my mind for once and for all. Include Michael Penix. 1 through 3 of the top 3 rounds of the NFL draft so far. How would you grade Atlanta's picks? For Bralen Trice specifically, I would give it a B. Much of that grade is just driven from the fact that it has to be a good pick. It really does. If Bralen Trice is just an absolute dud that performs and delivers nothing in his rookie season, the Falcons' pass rush, which was very bad for a long time, may only get worse. So a lot is being put on Jimmy Lake and Raheem Morris's plates to get the most out of the guys currently on the roster and the rookies being added to it. But when it comes to round 3 players, I know that sounds like they have an opportunity to be big impact guys, but go back to like Arnold Ebiketie rookie season. Did he have a big impact? Not necessarily, and he was a second round pick for the Falcons. So my expectations aren't very high for Trice. But for the Falcons, I think it is pretty high because it has to be. So after 2 days of the NFL draft, Michael Penix, Ruke Orhorhoro, and Bralen Trice, I'd give it a D+. And the plus is just me being nice. I wish they went edge rusher in round 1. I don't think trading up for Ruke Orhorhoro is worth it. Plus, I wish they went Johnny Newton. And then for Bralen Trice, I wish they went Jonah Ellis. Like, I know that my big board and their big board are not going to be the same, and I'll probably give them credit. They probably know a little bit more than I do about football. But we often think that during the drafts, and then we look back at previous drafts, and we're like, how the hell did the Raiders get away with those picks? John Gruden's supposed to be way smarter than me, and I could have told you Clelin Ferrell in top 5 was a bad idea. So it does happen, as foreign as it may sound, that your average Joe may know a thing or two a little bit more about some of these prospects. So with that being said, we're going to let you guys get to bed, wake up early tomorrow because we've got day 3 of the NFL draft right around the corner.